Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and today we're going to take a look at the Weaponeers of Monkaa, the brand new line of action figures from Spy Monkey Creations. Now you guys have heard me talk about Spy Monkey Creations plenty of times in the past. They're most well known for making some really cool custom weapons to use with your action figures. Well, they've taken it one step further by creating their very own line of action figures, the Weaponeers of Monkaa. So that's what we're going to take some time looking at today. So the Weaponeers of Monkaa, the first wave here is comprised of 6 different action figures. These 6 different action figures are divided into 2 different teams. Now one thing that's really cool with this toy line is Spy Monkey has created this whole universe for these characters. There's this fantastic storyline that you can read about on their website, and even with the included cards, which I'm going to show you in just a bit. But basically the idea is that there's 2 different factions. You've got the good guys, which are known as the Glyos, and the bad guys, which are known as the Villain. So of the 6 action figures, representing the good guys is Imperious, the heroic leader of the Glyos. It's a really cool name because of course that is a direct nod to the Blade of the Empyrean, which is one of Spy Monkey's more well-known weapons that they've created. And then also on the good guys is Paladar, the fearless commander of the Glyos forces. Then representing the Villain, we have Umbrius, the evil overlord of the Villain, so the big bad of the toy line. And then we have Brutok, the ruthless general of the Villain hordes. So each of the figures has this little emblem on their chest that shows which team they're affiliated with. So you can see there's a cool little insignia that was created for the Glyos and for the Villain, and the little symbol is right there on their chest so you can tell right away which team they represent. Now the other 2 figures in the wave are a very cool character known as the Golem. Now the Golem, as explained in the story, is going to be a character that kind of chooses his own path. It could be a Villain, it could be a Glyos, it could be whatever you choose. So the 2 golems we have in this series are the very cool Magma Golem, which is a really nice translucent orange. And then we have the Crystal Golem, which is a really cool translucent blue. Now, since you can kind of choose which path these characters take, the cool thing about this is the little insignia on the front is a removable piece. So you can just pop that off. And the golems do include both the Glyos insignia and the Villain insignia. So you can decide if you want your golem to, lean towards the Glyos or lean towards the Villain, and you can just pop that insignia right there on the chest, and you can align them however you want to. Or hey, you can pop the little insignias off and they could just be a neutral force. But that's kind of a neat little way to kind of expand the storyline of these characters and expand the play value of them. I think that is really neat. Of course, that does mean that all of the little insignia pieces on each of the figures are interchangeable, so you can always pop those off if you want to. Of course, the 2 Villain members only come with the Villain insignia, though. Their other piece is just blank. And same with the Glyos figures, they only come with the Glyos insignia. So the golems are the only characters that come with both insignia, so you can choose which side they're on. So one thing that is really cool about this line is that they utilize the Glyos system. And if you've ever watched any of my videos in the past, you've probably heard me talk about the Glyos system. Made famous, of course, by Onell Design, who created the Glyos system, and also used by the 4 Horsemen for their Outer Spacemen line. It's a completely interchangeable pop-and-play feature. So you can pop off any of the joints on these figures, any of the limbs, any of the heads. Basically, anywhere there's an articulation cut, you can pop those parts off, and they're completely interchangeable with each other, and also interchangeable with any other figures that use the Glyos system. So the Outer Spacemen, Onell Design's Glyos, all of that stuff, which adds a lot of really creative play value. So you can come up with some very cool, crazy, and custom creations of your own with these guys. Now, of course, that is going to add to the play value of just the figures themselves here between each other and the different things that they come with. So let's go and take a look at the designs of these guys before we move on to anything else here. All of the figures share the same basic body designs. They stand about 3 inches tall, and they've all got the same kind of bulky, squat bodies, which is really cool. It's a really neat nod to the 80s because all of the figures kind of have this real hunked over, bulked out, squatted pose. So they got the kind of the arms bulked out to the side, and they're real squat, the short legs. Very reminiscent of some of the toys we used to get back in the 80s there. So they all utilize the same bodies, but they're just painted or cast in the different colors there. You can see figures like Imperius has got this really bright red with a very cool metallic silver used on there. And then his first command, Paladar, is just the opposite color scheme, where he's mostly that metallic silver with the red highlights. Then we got guys like Umbrius, who uses this really cool purple and green theme, while Brutok is also the reverse colors. So what's really neat about these guys is they do have their own unique heads, but each of the figures do include all of the pretty much the same different parts. You can mix and match all of them. Each figure has a total of between 25 and 28 different interchangeable pieces. So they all come with weapons, heads, all these different parts you can use. And it's really creative too, because let's take, for example, we'll take a look at Umbrius here. You can see his head's got this really cool skull head to it. You can see on his hands he's got like a regular fist type hand on the left, he's got this cool little spiked hand on the right, but what's neat about that is you can see that the hands also double as heads. So you'll notice that the spiked hand he has on the right happens to be the same head that's used on Brutok. The fist hand there happens to look like the Golems' heads. So all of these things are made in such a way that you can mix and match these parts, and you can use them for like weapon hands, or they can be used as heads, or they can be used as fists, or they can also be used as other heads. For example, Imperius here, he's got like this arm cannon thing. But if you'll notice, his arm cannon is also the head of Paladar. So it's kind of a really cool, very interesting design, very neat, very creative, I'd say, on Spy Monkey's part to make a way so that they've all utilized these same parts but in different ways. And again, this just helps to add to all the different play value of mixing and matching all these parts. So guys like Imperius and Umbrius, what's neat is they do come with each other's heads in the different colors. So you can see Umbrius does have an Imperius head in the purple and green. Imperius has the Umbrius head in red and silver. Same thing goes for Brutok and Paladar. You can see Brutok has got the Paladar head in green. Paladar has got the Brutok head in silver. So you can mix and match those parts. And even cooler, you get the Golems. The Golems come with every single one of the other heads. All of the heads done in the translucent color to match the Golem bodies. So it's just a really neat way to kind of mix and match all these parts there. Great for different varieties. But one other thing that's really neat is they do also come with some different weapons. So you've got little blades. And it's neat because you can kind of just plug the blades into the hands. So say you got to plug this regular blade. Looks like he's holding a sword. We got Imperius using a sword now. Or you also got this little hook weapon. And maybe you want to plug it into the blaster there. Make it look like he's kind of got like a Captain Hook kind of hand going on there. It's very cool. You can mix and match those however you want to. Let's say Umbrius here, we'll put the sword on the top of his hand. We'll have the hook coming out of the bottom of his hand. And now it looks like he's just holding on to one weapon that's got blades on either end there. So, like I said, all of these parts completely interchangeable with each other. If you've ever played with Glyos before, if you've ever played with the Outer Spacemen, then you know exactly how this works. It's just a little peg system. You can pop all the parts off. You can see they're very easily removed, but they hold nice and firm and solid, so you don't have to worry about them just falling out or anything like that. You just pop all those parts out, and what's great is there's little holes. You'll see there's little peg holes all over the figures. And that's just really cool because you can find all these different ways to just combine the parts to build different things. You can make different figures. You can mix and match the colors to create your own custom colors of these characters. You can make your own wacky monsters or designs. I know there are a lot of creative people out there that can come up with some really wacky and wild designs for these guys, which is just awesome to see the different things that you can come up with. The possibilities are practically endless with these things. So if that's not enough for you, one of the other things that's really great is you can purchase separately a heads pack. Now the heads pack includes a set of different heads that are cast in exclusive colors that you can't get with any of the other figures. So for example, you can get the Imperius head that is with the Brutok color, so you can put it with your Brutok there. You also get the Umbrius head in the Brutok colors. You get the Imperius head in the Paladar colors. You get the Paladar head in the Umbrious color. So basically you just get all those same heads, but they're cast in the colors that don't come with the figures. So again, you can buy this extra heads pack. It helps to add even more to the different creativity there. One of the things I really like about this is each figure comes with their very own art card. Now the art on these is absolutely tremendous. It's beautiful, brightly colored artwork. It totally screams something from the 80s, something we would see right out of the 80s or early 90s. Very cool looking artwork on there. And of course the back of the cards gives some stats for the character and gives you a little bit of information on the character himself. So that's just a really nice little freebie to throw in with each of the figures. So I talked about a little bit how these figures totally remind me like there's something right out of the 80s, and that happens to be exactly what Spy Monkey was hoping to accomplish with this particular toy line. Basically, these figures here are supposed to kind of be a nod to all of these fantastic 80s toy lines that we all grew up with and we loved. Spy Monkey focused on making weapons before, and these weapons were supposed to be used by your already existing action figure line. What they've done now is they've created a line of characters that created those weapons for all of these different action figure lines. And if you look real close at these guys, you'll notice that there are lots of things in here that are direct nods to vintage toy lines. Obviously, we've got some Transformers looks with figures like Imperius. We've got some Masters of the Universe looks with figures like Umbrious. He's got a very Skeletor look to him. You'll notice that the color scheme is very Constructicon on some of these guys, like Brutok. Again, kind of leading on to the Transformers feel there. I mean, they really pull from all of these different toy lines of the 80s. It's like this line is one big love letter to all of these toy lines that we absolutely loved while growing up. This line completely pays homage to that, while at the same time using some of the very cool modern toy designs of the Glyos system to bring us some very cool, very original, and very creative action figures. So, you guys want to get some of these awesome figures for yourself? Well, you can head on over to www.spymonkeycreations.com or directly over to www.weaponeersofmonkaa.com. And these figures are on sale right now. Each figure includes up to 28 interchangeable pieces, comes with a sickle and the sword piece plus interchangeable heads, and a trading card for each of the characters for only $12 each. And if you want to buy that extra heads pack, it's only a mere $5. So they're very affordable, you get lots of play value out of them, and they come highly recommended by me. I would definitely recommend you guys head over and check these guys out because I am in love with these. And I am very excited to see where Spy Monkey is going to take this line next. Until next time.